how to see. Like ordinary people see with their eyes, dogs see with their nose. It's how they verify everything. And with spiritual people, Shastra Chaksu, they see through the eyes of the scriptures. They see through the eyes of superior devotees. We don't trust our own objective vision. As I said here, see, Rupa Goswami Samadhi we will go to, but it's far away from here. And we said, why? Because Jiva Goswami, Kaviraj Goswami, they want to show some respect. They're saying, we're not Rupa, it's the Rupa Nuga line. We don't want to be so close. We want to be from a distance, somewhat at a respectful distance shall be our position. Jiva Goswami, Guru Maharaj says in his Bhakti Vinod Viraha Dasakam, Jiva Jay Abhirakshitam Shuka Shiva Brahma Samanitam, saying what Mahaprabhu's purpose for coming in this world, it's known only to Swarup Damodar. Even in the Chaitanya Bhagavata Vrindavan Thakur, that about Radha Bhava Dyuti Subolita, enveloped in the heart and halo of Radharani, that's not given there. The emphasis is more on the Nam Sankirtan and Bhakta Bhav, but not the Radha Bhav. It's presented exclusively in Chaitanya Charitamritam. This comes from Swarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami to Krishna's Kaviraj. But in Guru Maharaj's prayer to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it's in Sri Gauranumatam Swarupa Viditam Rupagrajena Advitam. And only Swarup Damodar knows fully, and what that thing is, it's being worshipped by Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, who's in this sense considered Rupa's elder brother. And Rupa Goswami Prabhu is writing so many literatures, the Bhakti Rasa Shastra, Sanatana Goswami, Bhakti Siddhanta. But Jiva Goswami, he says, Jiva Ye Abhirakshitam. His service is to protect what has been given by Rupa Goswami. Because Rupa Goswami is saying straight what is Krishna Lila and so many other things. If someone says, well, on what authority is Rupa Goswami telling all these fantastic and wonderful things? Why should we believe that? He's not giving any references. He's just saying, and Krishna Lila, they were doing this, and Dwarka Lila, they're doing that. These queens, just writing all of it. And it's so beautiful. Mahaprabhu said Rupa's handwriting like rows of pearls. That's what it looked like to Mahaprabhu, the way Rupa Goswami wrote. He says just pearls and pearls, strands of pearls. But so Jiva Goswami, who's younger, his seva is, he will tell you all the scriptural references from the Vedas, the Puranas, and all the other books that makes what Rupa and Raghunath, what they're giving is legitimate. If someone comes to challenge its authenticity, its legitimacy, or tries to meddle with that divine substance, Jiva Goswami is there. It's like Guru Maharaj's name, Rakkak. His name is in Sanskrit, Rakshaka, but also in Bengali, Rakkak means guardian or protector. So Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Rakkak Sridhar. And his poem, he's saying, Jiva Ye Abhirakshitam. There's that word again, Raksha. So Jiva Goswami's service is to protect what is being given by Rupa and the others. And of course, that is identified when it's saying, in the next line, Jiva Ye Abhirakshitam Sukha Shiva Brahma Samanitam. And what it is, that thing that Brahma is aspiring for, Shiva is aspiring for, and Sukadev is aspiring for this, and later Guru Maharaj added Uddhava, Asamaho Charanarenu Chishamaha. He is aspiring that. What is it? Saying Sri Radha Padasevanamritamaho Tadatumi Shobhavan. He's saying Bhakti Vinod Thakur, oh, means oh, how wonderful. This is your gift to the world. Radha Dasyam, the service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So, Jiva Goswami Prabhu protecting the Sampradaya in that way. And here, really this was his place with the Radha Damodar deities, which we'll see later, and accompanied by Radha Vrindavan Chandra as well. Right? But Rupa Goswami was older, and Sanatana Goswami, they're older, so Jiva is young. He's happily taking care of them. There's one room around the corner also, we were always told, it was the Goswami's prasadam room, like where they would assemble and take prasadam, if you can imagine. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they're all taking prasadam together. That's an amazing thing. You know. Prabhupada used to go there. So here, the Damodar, Radha Damodar deities, are Jiva Goswami deities, but he is happily serving and caring for Rupa Goswami in his older age. And we know, we hear also that Jiva Goswami loves Rupa Goswami so much, like whatever, because Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa, on the other side, whatever he does, he knows is perfect. Right? Even once Sanatana Goswami Prabhu saw something Rupa wrote about the gopis when they're, and it looks like their hair, he said, looks like snakes in the water. They're black when they're bathing. And he said, and Sanatana Goswami said, Prabhu, I don't know about that line. That's a little unusual. Maybe reconsider that. It looks like snakes coming off their head. And then he went away, Sanatana Goswami's walking, and there's some girls bathing and their long black hair. And he said, oh, girls, look out, some snakes are coming. And then he said, oh, it's their hair. Then he went back and told her, actually, that's a very good line you wrote. Leave it, don't change it. So, but another time, Balabhabata, great scholar, he's visiting, and he's a big Sanskritian, and we know he's in Charitamritam, sometimes boasting of his own scholarship. And so he sees some writing of Rupa Goswami and saying, actually, I think there's a mistake here. And Rupa Goswami has, Man Shunyata, he wrote the book on devotion. That means in Bhava Bhakti, absence of any kind of ego. Certainly, he doesn't have that. So he's saying, there's a mistake. Oh, I'll correct that. He doesn't try to defend it. There's no ego involved. He's correcting. But word comes to Jiva Goswami, and down at the Jamuna, where they bathe and do varieties of different services. And Jiva Goswami is like a teenager, young boy. He's doing some seva for the Goswamis, and Balabhabata is there. And he doesn't know who this boy is, right? And he doesn't know, he's the greatest scholar who ever lived. That's how we can think of Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami, I couldn't help but overhear your attempt to correct Rupa Goswami. Yes, because I saw in one line, you start giving some Sanskrit explanation. Jiva Goswami, no, you don't understand. Let me explain something to you. He's a teenage boy, this is old. And he explains to him what is written there from, not only from a poetic point of view, but Sanskrit knowledge and understanding is perfect. And then Balabhabata, hearing from Jiva Goswami, realizes, oh, I am wrong. I could not see that, but you helped me understand how what he wrote is perfect. And he goes back to Rupa Goswami and said, I met some boy down at the Jamuna. He's really smart, intelligent, and he explained to me how what you wrote is actually perfect. And I realized, I'm sorry that I tried to correct you. And Rupa Goswami is like, what does this boy look like? And then he can understand, it's Jiva Goswami. So you think, oh, well, happy days. But when Balabhabata goes, Rupa Goswami says, that is not good, what you did. You're a boy, and then you corrected this senior person. I don't like that. You have to leave my ashram. You can't stay here. Right? So he's ousting Jiva Goswami from his ashram, which is inconceivable, but welcome to the Krishna consciousness movement. I mean, these things, they happen from time to time. There's a colloquial saying about, no, I won't say that. Anyway, so Jiva Goswami is sort of moving tree to tree, and Sanatana Goswami Prabhu is coming in. He said, Jiva, why are you not staying with Rupa Goswami? He said, Oh, he ousted me from his ashram. What? And he explains the story to him, what happened. So Sanatana Goswami goes to Rupa Goswami. And you know this verse, what is it? Jive Doya, Namaruchi, what is it? Vaishnava Seva, Jive Doya. So he's saying, my dear Rupa, Rupa reveres Sanatan as guru, even though Sanatan considers himself a Rupanuga. But there's a special relationship they have. And Sanatana Goswami say, what kind of Vaishnavism are you practicing? And Rupa goes, what? And he's saying, well, there's Namaruti, Vaishnava Seva, but what about the Jive Doya, being merciful to the jivas? He said, there's this one jiva that you're not being merciful to, and he's crying under a tree, and so we're going, oh, yes, Prabhu, I will correct myself. So, in this way, we see the marvelous, loving, affectionate dealings between them, that everyone's glorified and behaving very humbly. Rupa Goswami say, hey, I wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And so many other things. No, nothing like that. Sanatana Goswami Prabhu is telling me I need to adjust myself, then I will do that and be merciful to Jiva. And so they have some wonderful divine pastimes in that way. But, and Guru Maharaj wrote about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Shri Jiva Tejastiti, and other places, but this is one line from a prayer, saying, Tej means like fire, but like internal fire, intensity. Fire-like and burning fire-like intensity. Tej, power, strength. Saying, Shri Jiva Tejastiti. Srila Saraswati Thakur, he said, he's an incarnation of Jiva Goswami. So, but to qualify that, there's literally being an incarnate, like that same person appeared again, and then there's functionally, and meaning in principle, personifying that person, and he means it in that way. So he's saying, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the same way Jiva Goswami is protecting the Sampradaya from adulteration, modification, Sahajiism, etc., Saraswati Thakur, he's doing that same service for the Sampradaya and to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and elsewhere. So, very beautiful. Guru Maharaj knowing how to perfectly glorify his own Guru. So here he's comparing him to Jiva Goswami. How wonderful is that? Like what type, because if you hear, oh, great scholar, this, maybe you're thinking, but scholar, there could be some color to that type of praise. You're saying, how scholarly? He's an incarnation of Jiva Goswami. Oh, now your meaning is clear to us, that type. So, and here we see the Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu, who the Chaitanya Charitamritam is everything for us. That's Guru Maharaj said, it's the greatest book ever written in all time, all space, and all creation. We have to embrace this concept. It takes some time to appreciate that. I'm not implying I do, but I can understand. It's a lifelong culture, but there is nothing that compares to it. Because we say, but there are so many the works of Rupa, even Kaviraj Goswami himself, Govinda Lilamrita, Rupa Goswami, Lalita Madhava, Vidagdama, these other high works that we're told not to go into detailed study on. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, he's taken slokas from them and included it in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And just the right ones, like the ones that might be problematic for Nephi, that's not the ones he included. He's selected, and from his own work, Govinda Lilamrita is also that higher type of work that we're not to studying. It's his own book, and sometimes you'll see, he's always praising Rupa Goswami, Swarup Damodar, Raghunath Das Goswami, and others. But sometimes you'll see a sloka, and you hear it you see, here's the Rupa Goswami sloka. Then there's another sloka that follows that, that's like similarly themed, and you're looking at that and you go, oh, this is like equally, if not more beautiful. It's somehow super wonderful. And then you look and it says, Govinda Lilamritam. And you realize, oh, that's his sloka. But he always goes, Rupa Goswami wrote this. He always will do that. And then like, he might put one of his. Very humble and wonderful. But what we need to understand is that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, well, the significant part, according to him, in the beginning of Charitamritam, he's saying like, why should you listen to me or what I've written? He's saying, on the one hand, I don't really want to reveal this, but on the other hand, I must. And he tells how he got the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And what is the significant point? That his relative was disrespecting, or not properly respecting, one of the Dwadasa Gopals of Nityananda Prabhu. It means he has 12 cowherd boy intimate associates, Meena, Ketana, Ram. That means they're, practically speaking, they are Nityananda Prabhu. If you see one of them, that's as good as seeing Nityananda Prabhu himself. They're on that level. And he dismissed this like, oh, I'm worshipping the deity. He didn't. He should have, as Guru Maharaj said, with the permission of the deity, say, oh, your devotee has come. Let me attend to them. Krishna's real. He's a person. What would he do if he was standing there? He'd say, there's my devotee. Receive him. Right? But in the name of, oh, I'm worshipping the deity, he disregarded the devotee. What are we told in the Bhagavatam? Thematically, that's the position of a Kanishta Adhikari. They Ishwari Tadadi Snesh. They see the Lord in the deity, but not in the devotee. They think the devotee is less than the deity. And this is a very peculiar point. What we think, aren't they? Right? It sort of reveals our own position. But when Guru Maharaj came to Gaudiya Math, it's before he joined, and it was like, say it was Janmashtami. Right? So Krishna appeared at midnight. And Guru Maharaj goes to, Saraswati Thakur is upstairs with his intimate devotees, and Guru Maharaj goes to where the pujari is with the deity. And he's going to trap him. Gurudev said Guru Maharaj makes traps when he does philosophical debates, like trenches. And so he has a trap. He says to the man, so Krishna's like within the deity, what are we to understand? And the man goes, what do you say? He's going, Deha, Dehi, Vivedo, Yam, Neshware, Vidite, Gojit. He is, the deity is Krishna. Not he's within, and it's not like that. As you see him, Krishna's appearing that way. 100%, 100%. Not within, in spirit, or some idea like that. That's very offensive to Gaudiya Math. To say, no, he's the deity. If he shows up this way, that way, with this kind of face, this kind of form, that's Krishna's play to appear that way. They say, no, the deity is Krishna. And Guru Maharaj says, aha. So why all and you're the least devotee, all the higher level devotees, they're with your Guru Maharaj upstairs, and Krishna's appearance is coming. So Guru Maharaj is like, he's cornered him philosophically. Like, how can he get... But Guru Maharaj said, but he was a disciple of Saraswati Thakur and trained in Gaudiya Math, and Guru Maharaj was not yet a member. And he said, the man said, Krishna will be appearing in greater magnitude and more accessibly in our Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj said, that I had to consider. So he's saying, more intense, more present. Because we'll say, no, but the deity is Krishna, you just said so. But Guru Maharaj will make this point. What is our capacity to appreciate that? Yes, he's there. We're seeing, he said in regard to Jagannath, something, he's saying, we're seeing an awkward figure. You know, he put, Mahaprabhu sees Jagannath and Ganga-like streams of tears are pouring out of his eyes. He's saying, Shama Sundar Krishna. So Guru Maharaj said, the situation is that we have very limited capacity to appreciate that the deity is Krishna, although he is Krishna. As Saraswati Thakur said too about the devotees who went for darshan and said, oh, you saw, you know, Gaur Gadadhar. And they're saying, yes, we saw it. He goes, you saw Gaur Gadadhar? Yes, Guru Maharaj, yes, Prabhupada, you saw Gaur Gadadhar. And they go, No, we did not see that. Said, right. He said, what you did was eye exercise. And we're told, even in the Bhagavatam and different parts of Vedic literature, how do you look at the deity? You start like this, with your eyes. You look at the lotus feet, you start going up the body, then they see there are the arms of Krishna, the shoulders, then the head, the lotus eyes, the face, the smile. So what do you think? If you notice, your eyes, they're going up like this, they're going to the left, they're going to the right. So Saraswati Thakur said, what you're doing is eye exercise. Making the eyeball go to the left, to the right, like he's saying, like, there's nothing substantial there. And they're kind of like, yes, Maharaj. So then you say, well, then what are we doing? Guru Maharaj says, we're presenting ourselves to the deity. If you follow this thread thematically, we're saying, deity is Krishna. So we may not be able to see how the deity is Krishna, but Krishna there, he can see you. So then we will think like, oh, let me present myself to Krishna. So that's why we should be dressed nicely, tilak, and then present ourselves before the deity to be seen by the deity. The glance of the deity will purify us. Admittedly, we're in the lower level of devotional appreciation to what degree. So anyway, but Kaviraj Goswami, so since his relative didn't properly respect Meena Ketanaram, who's, Nityananda Prabhu's disciple, and Meena Ketanaram, they're eccentric, the followers of Nityananda. He has his flute, he breaks his flute, he's really, here we have the second Brahma Harshan Sutta, who disrespected Balaram in the Bhagavatam, and we know how that ended. Remember, it's funny because Sutta Goswami, there's some connection there, and that's another story. But, because Balaram assassinated him, we can say. I think that's a polite way of putting it. While he was on the Vyasa side, which makes it even more dramatic. But so Meena Ketanaram, very upset, and Kaviraj Goswami tells his brother, in the Indian sense brother, saying, you're thinking, he said, there's a logical fault here called Ardha Kukiyanya. It means the half a hen. One part of the chicken eats, the other part gives the egg, right? So half a hen philosophy means you like the part that gives the egg, but you don't want to feed the other part. That can't be. You have to feed the chicken to get the egg. So this logical fallacy means you accept half of something, but the other part that's critical, you're not accepting. So you say, and we come to the point, you say you're a devotee of Mahaprabhu. Right? Or by extension, even Kaviraj, you say you're a devotee of Krishna. But if you don't give recognition to the devotee of Krishna, and in this case, there's no greater devotee of Mahaprabhu than Nityananda Prabhu. So you're disrespecting Nityananda Prabhu, and in the guise of saying, you're a devotee of Mahaprabhu? Impossible. That cannot be. And we're told then later, that man, Gurunardava Misra, he went down. But that evening, so in other words, in summary, Krishnadas is saying, the position of devotee in Vaishnavism, particularly Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the position of the devotee is more significant. Right? That's why the devotee said, yeah, with our Guru Maharaj, you'll get more Krishna, more Mahaprabhu from him than you will by trying to interact with the deity. This is the point. It's Vaishnavism, always the emphasis on the devotee. So Kaviraj Goswami, that night has a dream, and Nityananda Prabhu appears to him. And we're told Nityananda Prabhu, he's like Nityananda Balaram, he's intoxicated with Krishna Prem. And he's like that, he's swaying, and we're told there are bumblebees flying around, and Nityananda Prabhu saying, Krishna Das. And there it says, what does it say? Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar. What is it? Up and down, Adam, Kichu Nahi Vichar. But Uttam, oh yeah, Uttam means higher, lower, Adam. Yeah, he's saying, so what is it saying? Nityananda Prabhu, he's the Kripa avatar. Like there's all these different avatars. This is interesting. Right? He's the mercy avatar. This is the one we should be interested in. And what is his position? And like the intoxicated man, the one who's drunk, what is he saying? Like, everyone is my friend. Have a drink with me. What I'm drinking, let him drink that too. He's my friend, my dear friend here. Whoever he meets, he doesn't care. They're very high people, they're very low, they're new, whatever they are, they're all his friends. He loves everybody, and he wants what he's drinking that's intoxicating him, he wants you to drink that too. And this is your opportunity. So he's saying, Nityananda Prabhu, he's drunk on Krishna Prem, and he's indiscriminate in this intoxication. Therefore, we're saying, that means we have a chance. Suddenly, realistically, we have a chance. Because he's saying, he doesn't care what your position are. He's saying, well, let me explain my situation. You don't have to do that. It's already factored in. He's just going to inundate everyone with this mad, intoxicating substance of Krishna Prem. So he tells Krishna, like, how he's expressing how pleased he is with him for chastising the brother and making this all essential point about the presence of the devotee being, Krishna being more present there. He's saying, that is your entrance into Vrindavan. We would think, no, Vrindavan should be when you realize certain things about Krishna. Saying, no, if you're understanding Krishna conception proper, as given in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Nirmat Saranam Satam, you cannot be envious of the devotee. Who's the ultimate devotee? Srimati Radharani. And everyone else's devotion is an extension from her or Balaram, in this case Nityananda. So he's saying this critical point, that you understand the importance of the devotee more than the Lord, that's your ticket into Vrindavan proper. And so Krishna's Kaviraj Nityananda says, go there, and all your heart's inner desires, and this means spiritual, deep spiritual desires from the deep heart's court, they will be fulfilled. And when he comes here, we know that after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu and Sri Damodar Goswami, that Raghunath Das Goswami, he has no reason to live in the world anymore. Both of them are gone, Mahaprabhu and Sri Damodar. So he's thinking, why go on living? And my heart's aspiration for Radha Dasam seems to be fading away and not a possibility anymore. You think, I will go to Govardhan, see Radha Kund, Govardhan, and then from Govardhan throw myself down, commit suicide. And by the way, we are devotees threaten this from time to time, but they never do that. It's a side point. But it's a feeling in them, like, why should I go on living? And they think of some way like that. Because Sanatana Goswami too said at one point, I'll throw myself beneath the wheels of the Rath Yatra cart. And Mahaprabhu said, Sanatan, if by this method, suicide, you could get Krishna, I would commit suicide 1,000 times a minute. But you can't get Krishna that way. So, but anyway, it's a feeling they have. But then Raghunath Das Goswami comes to Vrindavan and he sees Rupa and Sanatan. And he thinks, oh, Mahaprabhu and Sri Damodar are in them. So it revives his life's aspiration and reason for living. So he's staying, Nija Nikata Nivasa Dehi Govardhanatvam, staying near to Govardhan, that's his aspiration, and to Muke Radha Radha Bole Beshe Nayanera Jale Radhe Radhe. We only like to hear that from the lips of Raghunath Das Goswami. You will hear that many times here, not from Guru Maharaj, not from Gurudev. But in this song, it's saying, Muke Radha Radha Bole. Taking the name of Radharani, what does it say? Beshe Nayanera Jali. He's on his hands and knees, crawling in Vrindavan, in separation. And it's saying the tears are streaming from his eyes, Vesh, and they're soaking his clothes. And that Raghunath Das Goswami, he's saying, Hare Krishna, Jai, Purnananda, not only some like half Ananda or partial Ananda, but Purnananda. Jai, he's a disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. We're just trying to say something on the glories of Hare Krishna. So that Raghunath Das, it says, Mukhe Radha Radha Boli Veshe Nayanera Jali Radhe Radhe. He's saying Radhe Radhe. We don't imitate that. Let that be for Raghunath Das. And so we're not casually taking the name of Radharani. Even one Gaudiya Math devotee said to another, said, his brother was always doing that, and his brother came to Guru and said, won't she be disturbed? Like he's always calling her name. Won't she be disturbed by that? There's some simple-hearted devotees. But so Guru Maharaj and Guru, they don't approve of that, but we'll hear it. We don't say anything. We say Hare Krishna is appreciated. But that Das Goswami, he is staying there in his final days. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, remember Nityananda Prabhu told him, when you go to Vrindavan, you'll get everything. It has many different meaning and understanding, but think of it this way. He goes to Vrindavan. What happens there? He gets Raghunath Das Goswami. Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're told. It's the notes of Swarup Damodar who only can see what Mahaprabhu is showing. Behind closed doors, that's Ramananda and Swarup. They only know certain things. And who is Swarup Damodar? Lalita Saki. When Mahaprabhu, when Raghunath Das Goswami said to Mahaprabhu, I came here to be with you, you put me under the care of Swarup Damodar, but can't you please give me some personal instruction? He said, I can, and he did, and they're very famous instructions. He said, but the reason I put you under the care of Swarup Damodar is what I don't know, he knows fully. And this presents an ontological dilemma. It's like, how can he say that? But it says it's just empty words, some flattery, some hyper, what I don't know, he knows. What can he not know? What he cannot know, by his own admission, he's saying, the limits of Krishna Prem, of Srimati Radharani, I can't estimate that. Although I am omniscient, omnipotent, I can't estimate how much love she actually has for me. So it's one of the reasons Krishna adopts the position of Mahaprabhu to experience that. And I've said this before, he is in what we call terra incognito, means a land previously unknown or unexplored. Even Radharani is worried about this. So he's saying, if you experience what I experienced, she's saying, she knows all the things that happened to her, most of them. Some even she doesn't know because the only witness is Lalita. Because Radharani is lost in divine madness, like in the Brahma Gita. So what Mahaprabhu is telling Das Goswami is actually a truth. He's saying, when I'm lost in this madness of Radha Bhav, I won't know everything. But Swarup Damodar, who's Lalita Saki, knows, chant this sloka, sing this song, read this. I don't even know these things. I will be lost in sometimes Mahaprabhu will come out of these deep internal states. One of these things he says is Gopal. He says, how do you say, Ami Chaitanya? He's saying, am I Chaitanya? He's saying, it's a double entendre, like, am I conscious? But he's literally saying, am I Chaitanya? Chaitanya? And what do you answer to that? If Mahaprabhu says, am I Chaitanya? You know what I'm saying? So it means he doesn't know what happened. It's so internally, it's his ecstatic, emotional interior. It's so devastating. He comes out and he's saying, did I say something unusual? Did I say some peculiar things when I was in this trance? And Swarup Damodar knows. You can say Ramananda, a few devotees, they know that. So when Mahaprabhu says, what I don't know, he knows. And I need you to know that. what he knows and how to assist me. It sounds like he's being, on one level, demoted, like, you won't be dealing with me directly, you'll be dealing with my secretary. You think, all right, I'll do that in the beginning, maybe I'll get promoted later. You think, no, you don't understand. Actually, that's the high position. To even deal with me directly, I can't help you on certain things, but she knows these things, and that's why I put you under her care. I need you to learn those things from Swarup Damodar. So this means the two who have the full picture of the ecstatic emotional interior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and understand the inner purpose of his descent. It's told me Swarup Damodar, Sri Gauranamatam, Swarupa Viditam by Guru Maharaj. Swarupam Bidbranu Jagataturyam Advaita Dvaita by Rupa Goswami. Very similar. So his position is unique. And so Swarup Damodar writes condensed notes about what he's seeing being exhibited by Mahaprabhu. He's keeping a diary, but in brief, in like sutras, condensed, the Koracha, his notes. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he writes more about it. So, but now Swarup Damodar's left the world. Raghunath Das Goswami, he's the only one, and we can Gurudev like to include Prabodhananda's position as unique, and we'll discuss him later. But Raghunath Das Goswami is carrying all of this. In a sense, we can say no one else knows, or very few. We're not excluding Rupa Goswami, them. But in other words, the devotees in general don't know. And what they know, they're relishing Chaitanya Bhagavad from Vrindavan Das Thakur, particularly Haridas Pandit. And Haridas Pandit saying, imagine these Mahabhagavatas are the audience assembled, and he's reading Chaitanya Bhagavad. Some have never heard these. He's telling about Mahaprabhu to them. And it said, they're like so many stars in the sky, and Haridas Pandit is like the moon, and his Gaur Katha is like rivers of nectar descending from the moon, and it's nourishing all these Maha Bhagavad star devotees. That person, Krishnadas Kaviraj, approaches, because he's serving Raghunath Das Goswami in his final days in Radha Kunda in Govardhan. And Raghunath Das Goswami transfers everything from Swarup Damodar and himself to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And then he leaves the world. So then those devotees, Haridas Pandit included, and others, they're hearing from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami things that are not found in that divine book, Chaitanya Bhagavad, which is like the official biography of Mahaprabhu, and we relish it. It is wonderful, extraordinary. But what Kaviraj Goswami has is not there. And so these devotees, when they hear these things from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, they're begging him, saying, Prabhu, if you don't write this, it'll be lost. No one will know. As much as we worship and revere Chaitanya Bhagavad, these things you're telling us, they're not expressed there. Or at most, they're hinted at. So they're begging him to present this in a written form. And he's so humble. He's thinking, I'm unqualified. But remember, Nityananda Prabhu, Krishna Das, you go to Vrindavan and everything you'll get there. It's a cryptic statement, and it's very simple but very profound. So he approaches Haridas Pandit. He's saying, yes, Prabhu, you should do this. He goes to Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. Yes, Prabhu, you should do this. Who's Astasaki Tungavidya. All the other devotees. Then at last to Madan Mohan, sometimes referred to as Madan Gopal, deity of Sanatana Goswami Prabhu and Sambandhagan. And the garland falls from the deities, like onto Krishna's Kaviraj as the ultimate, what do you call it? Sanction, right, and approval. So then he begins, and think about it, he's in his 90s. He's legally blind. This makes it even more divine. He's legally blind, right? He's arthritic, right? And He is writing the greatest book to have ever seen the light of day in all time, all space, and all creation. And what does he say? It is not my hand, but Madan Mohan. They're writing, they're moving my hand, making me write all these things. Gurumar is saying, that's the qualification for writing this. It has to be like that, coming down from the... He's saying, Madan Mohan's moving my hand, making me write these things. And very beautifully, in the end, he says that, he gives a comparison. He writes something that is so beautiful, inconceivably beautiful, about the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he will say, what, and it's the most beautiful thing you've ever heard. And he says, what I just expressed is an aparaj compared to what it really is. I represented it on some level. He's saying, but what it really is compared to, he's begging forgiveness for that. When Guru Maharaj expressed Sharanagati of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the search for Sri Krishna, the nectar of the holy name, he also gave one of these incredible descriptions, astonished everyone, and again he said, he called it Bhakya Aparad, like what I just said, but everyone knew, like he's just something super wonderful, it just passed through him. Same thing, Kaviraj Goswami, and at the end, he refers to the words as being his disciples, all the words he's used to explain, and he says, and it's very sweet, beautiful poetry, and he said, the Guru, he made his disciples dance in many different ways. But now the disciples, they're from so much dancing, they're tired. And now he's going to let them rest. So he said, my words, they're like my disciples, and now they will, I made them dance in all these different ways, and now they will go into the resting position. And so in that work, he, just to conclude, at the conclusion of Madhya Lila, he draws a comparison between the pastime Krishna Lila and Gaura Lila. And if you read it in a cursory way, or not very carefully, you will think it's saying Krishna Lila Amrita Sar, Tar, Shata Shata Dar, Das Dike, Jaha Baha Hoite, Say Chaitanya Lila Hoy, Soredra Soy, Manasa Charaha, or is it Hamsa something, Chaha? I forget the last line. But what he's saying is this. It's saying, Krishna Lila Amrita Sar. Krishna Lila, the pastimes of Krishna, what is it? Amrita Sar means like the cream of nectar. As much as nectar can be nectarine, this is the cream of nectarine substances. So then, if you read in an ordinary way and you think, and what is Gaura Lila? It's equally nectarine, it's also nectar. You think, oh, all right. But it wouldn't make so much sense to say that. That would be a poetic flaw, actually. It would be like a kind of redundancy. You're not adding something or elevating something in comparison to something else. So what is he saying? Yes, Krishna Lila, it's reserved for the highest section of liberated souls. It's the ultimate like nectarine substance. Then what is Gaura Lila? Saying, well, that Krishna Lila, it's only accessible by the highest section of liberated souls. So what he's saying is, you cannot enter there. You cannot get at that substance. But what Gaura Lila is the magnanimous distribution of that. Das Dike means 10 directions. Saying what is limited to this group, and you'll have no chance in the ordinary course of events and spiritual path seeking to achieve that. It's been burst open, and Mahaprabhu, he's distributing it. 10 directions means everywhere. And like Nitya, to the unqualified, qualified, whoever it is, that ultimate substance is being magnanimously distributed. And that's what he's saying at the conclusion of Madhya Lila. He's drawing this comparison. So at Guru Maharaj said, one is Madhurja, means sweetness, the other one Odarja, the magnanimous distribution of that sweetness. So, that Kaviraj Goswami, this is his place, and I think, Hare Krishna. And just to conclude, because Prabodhananda, Gurudev would sometimes say, like, what Rupa did as seva and others, Gurudev said, like, actually Prabodhananda could do that, but he is humble. He's Astasaki Tungavida. In one sense, I mean, you could say in a sweet way, because they're technically in the junior section, being their internal identity. You think, they will do this. Like, that's how exalted Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur is. And his one famous verse, Yatha yatha gora padara vinde, vinde tabhakin krita punyarasi, tata tatot sarpati hridya kasmat, radha padamboja sudamburasi. And Guru Maharaj gave various examples about this. One he's saying is like, you get on a plane in New York and you like come to Vrindavan. Or he said, you put coin in a machine on one side and the ticket comes out on the other side. So what he's saying is, focus all your energy and service capacity, potential in serving the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Gaura Padara Vinda. Right? That should be your focus. And then what will happen? For those who are Sukritivan, Sumedasa, they will understand. The entrance to Krishna Lila is Gaura Lila. The entrance to Vrindavan is Navadip. Every atom of Navadip is capable of giving Vrindavan in full. The Rasa Lila in distribution mode is the Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu. Also, the Rasa Lila in distribution mode is the Sankirtan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Prabodhananda saying, who knows everything, saying, this is the way to enter. And those who are Sumedasa, Sukritivan, Tata, Sarpati, Hridikasmat, what will happen as a result? Automatically, subconsciously, deep, from in the deep heart's core, what will happen? He says, the Radha Rasa Shuddhanidhi, which is his other famous word, that begins to flow. So that person finds himself, they're springing out of the soil of Vrindavan in some service capacity. Tatata Sop Sarpati Hridikasmat, Radham Padam Boju Sudamburasi. That's what is his opinion. So how beautifully expressed and given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Chaitanya Charitamritam and the leader of all of them is Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa Manjari, and now I think it's appropriate to go to his Samadhi and Bhajan Kutir. Hare Krishna.